Hi all, this is Rex King here again. A follow-up to my last video, I wanted to ask this question. Why does the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses love their devil so much? Without their devil, what are they? That's the question. Why do they love their devil so much? Without their devil, what are they? Isn't that an interesting thought? Look, let's now go to a different viewpoint whatsoever. Let's go to the mind of God. We're back in the Garden of Eden. We just created Adam and Eve, and then as we create them, we say, we want these two children to have free will. You know what? In order for them to have free will, what I'm going to do is after I create them and I get them started in life, I'm going to get out of the way completely. I'm going to give them free will, and I'm going to rest from my activities and let them do whatever they want to do to become the human family that they want to become. In other words, I'm not going to make my child, the human family, do anything or become anything it doesn't want to become or do. I'm going to let them have free will and become the family they want to become. They're going to have personal relations between one another the way they develop them. They're going to have sexual relations with one another the way they develop them. They're going to have, they're going to teach their children the way they want to teach their children. Of course, they're my children. And what I'm going to do as to get them started is I'm going to imprint love on them. And the need to take care of themselves and others in order to sustain themselves and continue to exist. In order to do that, love is the best path forward. And so basically he imprints upon them and provides them a loving world so that it becomes obvious that that's the path to take, the loving path to take, okay? But the question is how do you develop free will, okay? So Adam and Eve created with free will, and everything I just described is basically the situation, okay? How do you make free will? God rested, and then Adam and Eve had to go through life and have experiences. Try all the different ways humans can live, all the different situations, all the different possibilities, all the different everythings, so that the human family over time would come to know and come to understand what would be the best way to live in their free will. So that mankind, as a collective whole, free wills, the free wills of you and me and every individual collectively become the free will of the human family. And so the free will of mankind is something we have been developing into a standard. The standard of mankind. Mankind lives to this standard, okay? And so the question is it necessary to have the devil to create free will? For us to create this standard that mankind wants to live by? Is it necessary to have a devil in that standard? Because we have been given free will. We have the choice whether we want to have a devil in our free will or not. Now, I've presented a video that basically, the name of it, I think, is Embrace Your Devil Too. And basically, that's looking at our free will from the viewpoint of good and bad choices. And we call the bad choices the devil and the good choices good. Or we can call bad choices, not productive, negative, not healthy, and another one, other choice, positive, angel, good, helpful, beneficial, growth choices. And it's relative depending on the situation. Should I make love to the woman? Yeah, if you want to have a child, you better make love to the woman or it's not going to happen. It's just the way it is. What do you want? What are you trying to accomplish? What do you want to create? Okay. If so, there's a path to create it. And without making love to the woman, the child will not come into existence. That's just the way it is. That's you reap what you sow, okay? Well, if we don't want this child, Satan, the devil, in our existence, let's not create it. Let's not make it. In my free will, I don't want a devil. Can we agree on that? Well, the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, with their governing body, insists on the devil. They require the devil. The absolute thought of trying to eliminate the devil from our spirituality so that we can move forward with love and focus on good things with our free will instead of having to micromanage a devil. They don't want to think about that. They like the devil the way it is. Because without their devil, what are they? Without the devil, of what value is the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society with its governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses? Of what value are they with regard to a religion helping people to become the best they can be? Well, if they're teaching people that they need a devil in their free will, they're adding in these people's free will an unnecessary encumbrance on their existence that may lead to suicide because it's so maniacal and you lose all your power. See, that's the thing, is the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society with their governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses have all the power because they're the only one can tell you what the devil's going to do for you or not do for you, because that's the power they took over you. They created the devil and now they can, oh yeah, the devil don't like it if you do that. I mean, God don't like it if you do that, so that means the devil's going to come. I mean, come on, man, it's silly. Or you live in the devil life. Well, if you live in the devil life, bad choices, that's what you're saying? Well, if you live in the devil life of bad choices, that's you. That's not some maniacal creature coming to make you make a life of bad choices. It's a life of bad choices because you haven't been taught properly. Because instead of being taught a healthy way to manifest a healthy life, you were taught some BS about a devil. Yeah. So is it necessary to have a devil to create our free will? Which means to become the best God-loving, good person we can be. You know, a child of God that he's proud of. Is it necessary to have a devil? No, it is just not, okay? I mean, you can believe it if you want to. You can say, yeah, that's what the Bible meant, but it just doesn't mean that. Not as an adult. The thing is, the Bible is meant to be interpreted in an external way and in an esoteric way or a deeper meaning way. Well, the external way is there's a devil. If you just read it for what it is, as an ignorant governing body member, you see a devil. That's the exoteric, the obvious, for children. Yeah, for children, mankind that's not quite ready, that has the power to create very bad things and cause very bad things to happen. You know, maybe it would be nice for them to have a fear of a God above him or a devil above them to help keep them in line in some way in their immature mind. That if that's what they want to create, because they created it, not God, you know. And that's what happened. The immature mind of God created a devil because it needed a devil to help keep it in line, you know, or whatever you want to mean. It's a creation process. God didn't direct the path. You know, you picking, all he's saying is if you want to live and be good and whatever, keep moving in this direction, okay? And so as mankind's trying to move in that direction, figuring out all the dead ends and detours, you know, that's what's been happening for the last 6,000 years. You know, if you want to add a devil into all of that, saying that's what's causing it, you can, but it's not. What's causing it is you reap what you sow. You hit a dead end because you took a dead end path. You know, yeah, you hit a dead end. So you turn around. And now we know that you can create your life. You can avoid the dead ends. And this is how. In fact, I've done a video, how to manifest a physical life. You listen to that for a few minutes and you realize you can see something. You can see exactly what you want, but you can't necessarily walk right over to it. You know, you may have to build a bridge between you and it. And that's what this video does. It shows you the process of, hey, look, this is what I want. I see it. What do I have to do to obtain it? Oh, it's on the roof. I need to get a ladder. Okay, well, I go get a ladder. I put the ladder next to the house. Okay. I immediately walk up to the ladder and zip up to the top. No, I can't do that. I got to take up one rung at a time. Okay, now I know I got a ladder. Okay, I decided I need to get an education. Okay, what I want to do is I want to become a professional of some sort. Okay, so I got a ladder. Okay, and so the ladder is every decision I need to take in order to be able to succeed at that occupation. Okay, well, the first decision I need to do is I need to believe in the devil. In order for me to get to the top of the roof, I got to believe in the devil. Because I might accidentally slip while I'm going up and fall, and the devil would have done it to me. Do you see how silly that sounds? I mean, it's just complete nonsense. I'm walking up to the ladder because I want to get to the top. In order to get to the top, I need to go through several steps. And so the first step is I need to start making sure I've got the funds to go to school. That's my goal. I want to become a professional. I need to go to school. I need to get some training or some means to be able to actually start the process. Yeah, if I, let me go talk to the school, the university or whatever, and let me see what they think I need would be some good path for me. Get some professional advice, okay? Don't put your head in the ground and say, no, I don't want to read anything other than what these people that believe in the devil believe, because there might be a better option they don't want me to know about, okay? Anyway, so you figure, in other words, you start gathering information, pulling things together. And from that, you eventually reach your goal. Eventually you start school and whatever else, day by day. I've been through the process. Many people have gone to school, from their choice. In other words, you decide this is what I want for myself and I'm going to do it, and I do it. And you not parents or somebody else preparing it for you. So what I'm saying, that's just an example of how you manifest your life. And nowhere in that process do you have a devil. You just don't. It's not necessary. And so what I'm trying to say is you can create your free will, your life, into whatever you want it to be, and you didn't need to insert a devil. You just didn't. And so when they insert this devil into the Bible, that interpretation, that esoteric, childish interpretation, it's because they don't know, they've never been taught the esoteric, the deeper meaning behind the devil. And the deeper meaning behind the devil is bad choices, ignorance, stupidity, because Adam and Eve were ignorant and having to develop their free will, the character of mankind. See, that's the thing is, when I say they're ignorant and so forth and so on, I'm being polite, because that's the point, is they don't understand this, the basic premise of what God's purpose of mankind right now is. I mean, what I just described about God setting up mankind to succeed and then letting them learn to walk, learn to crawl, learn to walk, learn to stop crying, learn to, in other words, from the process of being the infant human family back with Adam and Eve, the ova and the sperm, I mean, that's what they were for all practical purposes. And from them, the mankind developed the character to know, you don't kill your brother, Cain and Abel. You don't do that. And yet still some people on earth think that that's okay. We're almost to the point where people realize you don't do that. It's nonsense. It's complete BS. And here, Jehovah's Witnesses have you killing most of the people on earth because they're not believing in the devil. I mean, that's what they want. The governing body wants you to kill most people on earth because they don't believe like you, like the governing body, in the devil, that God is going to kill you if you don't do what's right. I mean, think about that through a couple of times, I mean, let's just say it again. So the governing body says that everybody that don't believe in the devil like them, that God is going to kill you if you don't believe like them, because they say that that's what God wants you to believe. And because they figured that out from the Bible without your help or anybody else's help, because they think they're good enough to be able to do that kind of stuff on their own without really deep research or a study or understanding or anything, make it, I mean, if you, anyway, I think I've beat out that point enough. So no, we've proven the point. We don't need the devil in our life, okay? And so if we don't need the devil in our life, let's go back to number one. And then ask this question, is why does the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses love their devil so much? Without their devil, we figure out that we don't need them either. Notice the devil is why they exist. Because without the devil, I mean, what's their purpose? We just talk to God straight, which we can do already. Jesus taught us to do it. Pray to the Father through me, in the spirit of wanting to be a good person, the right thing. And it's just you and God, you and your Father talking, or your mother, however you want to view him, her, or them, for as that goes. because they are the primary male-female principle. I mean, even us, we're divided where we're supposed to have a female side and a male side, a dominant, masculine, everything in the world is that way, including, and we're from the mind of God. I mean, the mind of God is literally male-female. I mean, so that's the thing, is you appreciate that spirit is right there with you. Just like there's no wicked spirit force way out there out to get you, God isn't way out there out to get you either. It's the angel on your shoulder. It's right there with you. It's that conscience, that deeper meaning, that feeling of what's good and bad that you've developed, the sense of right and wrong. And if you develop it and have been taught properly, everything you do is naturally going to be loving. And so is wanting people to believe in a devil a loving thing? No, it's not. It's not loving to want people to believe in the devil. It's not loving to make people fear God, that make God into some petty idiot that if you accidentally put your pecker in the wrong place, you're condemned for the rest of your life. I mean, give me a break, man. Little boys are built with little peckers, and little peckers sometimes do things they shouldn't do because little boys that haven't been taught right are going to do things with their peckers that aren't right, okay? Now, I could say this about the feminine too, okay? I'm not going to be unpleasant to the feminine kind by having to do that or doing that. It's just unnecessary. I mean, things happen. But believing in a devil, or the devil, you should be afraid of the devil now. You see, I can't help but wonder what was going through Kevin Cunningham's mind. If you haven't watched the video of Governing Body, Where's Kevin Cunningham, please do. Here's this man that basically spent 30 years of his life following this organization tooth and nail, the best he could, until mentally he couldn't even handle it anymore, and so he had to pull away. Of course, immediately when he pulled away, he became inactive or something like that. He was no longer on the A list, and so then he started to become shunned and questioned, his loyalty and all of that. And then, because he's made mistakes in his life, maybe even put his pecker in the wrong place or something like that, So the point I'm trying to say is that his conscience was killing him because his fear of the devil, not being able to get right with God now, in his twisted mind, mentally challenged mind. Yeah, see, that's what they'll tell you. Oh, the man had mental problems. That's why the guy went to taking drugs. He had mental problems. He didn't start taking drugs because he was so confused in his life that he couldn't stand to live anymore. So he was trying to numb his pain with drugs until he accidentally did too much at one time and he killed himself. My condolences to the DeSaulniers and all the many other families that I don't know their name that have died from children trying to numb their pain through drugs because they believe in a devil. My condolences to Kevin's family, his 2 children and his wife, and their damaged family that they're trying to recover from. And all the others like Kevin that kill themselves by jumping off a bridge or putting a bullet in their head or driving into a ravine or some other way to end their life in a polite way, if possible, because they can't stand to live with themselves because they made a mistake in the past that they think that they can't See, Jesus don't even apply to the Jehovah's Witnesses in general anymore. Only to the governing body. The rank and file are waiting on Jesus's blessings. Okay, so without listening to the governing body and following them, all they have to do is fear Jesus and hope that fear the devil because Jesus isn't available to them yet. See, in reality, The other churches are ahead of you because they don't have to fear the devil anymore, because now all they have to do is just believe in Jesus. I have an aunt my Aunt Angela is heads and tails in her life of happiness. And she rejected Jehovah's Witnesses as a child. She's got so many children, I lost count. There's over 6 of them, 7 at least. Most of them sons. Had the most wonderful, out of all of the children of my mother's family who got involved with Jehovah's Witnesses, the most successful one is her with regard to her family, that far as I can tell. And she fortunately went out and lived a life, became a person, and as far as I can tell, if she's not one of the anointed, I don't know who is, from the viewpoint of her wanting to be a good person that recognizes the value of Jesus in her life. That, as long as I want to be a good person, then the devil has no hold on me. I mean, that's her life. And Jehovah's Witnesses don't get that at all. I mean, she's a better Christian and you don't even realize it. And y'all won't talk to her. Won't give her the time of day with regard to any spiritual matter whatsoever. And yet, now, is everything she believed correct? No. The fact of the matter is Jehovah's Witnesses have a lot of stuff correct. But believing in the devil ain't one of them. And if you've got a governing body that's controlling the show and they believe in the devil and you can't stop them from believing in the devil because everything that they say is only say, listen to what you're trapped in an infinite loop and you don't even know it. If you eliminate the devil from the organization of Jehovah's Witnesses and the rank and file that know God and have studied and know the truth, you're going to realize why Jehovah's Witnesses also have Armageddon wrong. Because Armageddon, if you don't have a devil, then what is Armageddon? I mean, Armageddon is to destroy the devil. Well, what are you destroying at Armageddon? The concept of the devil in your life, in your mind. That's what you're destroying at Armageddon. You're destroying Babylon the Great. This thought of a religion is necessary in order to get to God. That's the concept, that you need this tutor. Babylon the Great has been this tutor that's been helping us to develop our character so that we can come to understand that we don't need a tutor to have our relationship with God. We can just have it direct. Why? Because we are each individual children of God, creators. We're not imperfect. I've said this before. You can't have free will and be imperfect at the same time. In fact, in reality, the more you develop your free will, the less imperfect you are. If you look at imperfection from the viewpoint of ignorance. In other words, what is the opposite of free will? It's ignorance. Well, why is that so? Because if you don't know how to do, if you can't exercise your free will, then you are operating in instinct mode like an animal. And the fact of the matter is believing in the devil is one of those instincts that we need to lose from the past. The instinct mode that mankind first developed, the Adam and Eve devil story was, if I don't be good, something's going to get me. Yeah, something's going to get you. That something is you reap what you sow. And they didn't make that connection. They looked at it because you have to look at it. The world from the viewpoint of somebody 3,000 years ago was magical. I mean, they didn't know what electricity was. When a lightning bolt happened, they were afraid. They didn't understand. The world was a very magical place to them. Okay. And the fact of the matter is, it is a magical place if you know how to work it. We don't know how to work it anymore because our religion hasn't taught us properly. And again, this website has some really wonderful videos, and I'm going to keep doing more as I can and helping to, teach you how to develop a path, creating in other words, this free will thing is you saying, I want to be an engineer. I want to be a mother and have children. I would like to raise a little brood of children, and at the back of my life, I want to be able to say, wow, look at all these wonderful children, and they're all so good because I taught them that there's no devil in life, that if they act right and they do right and they plan a good life, use their free will to create their life with their free will by making decisions and knowing and have confidence that those decisions are going to work out, because the Almighty, did not put a devil up there to stop us or block our hopes and dreams. But as long as we do our best to step up that ladder one rung at a time till we get to the top, and we do it thoughtfully, not skipping any, not being careless, we're going to reach the top, and we're going to get on that roof, and we're going to become whatever we want to become. And the devil wasn't necessary. An organization, a religious organization like the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society has become, isn't necessary. An organization, a social organization that helps a person to be better, teaches people the better principles in the Bible, helps them to make better choices, to make godly, angel choices, and less, healthy, devilish, deviant choices that's not helpful for them. That's what it's about. It's about teaching people how to be a man, to be a woman, to exercise their free will. Not to be worried about some spiritual contest that's going on in some world that they imagine in their head. So what is in the book of Revelation, then what is the Armageddon? It's you killing the devil. You listening to this video right now and coming to the conclusion that, that guy Rex King is right. There really isn't necessary to have a devil in my life other than just a tool that I use to help me to make better choices. And that's it. Beyond that, it's nonsense. It's somebody trying to manipulate me and pay some tax I don't want to pay. I want to use all my energies to use my free will to create the preferences and experiences I want to have in life. I don't care about their devil. If they want to believe in a devil, they're welcome to it, but I don't want to believe in it anymore. And that's the point of these videos too. Look, if there's some people in Jehovah's Witnesses that want to stay there for whatever the reason, man, do it. But don't do it because you believe in the devil. Do it because you like the association, the friends, that's your family, But and don't hurt anybody. You be reasonable. You start setting the correct tone. Eventually, even though the governing body believes in the devil, everybody else is going to realize it's complete nonsense, and it's just going to be a social club. And that's all that's really important. Anyway, it's 27 and a half minutes, and basically, hopefully, I've killed the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society with its governing body once and for all on this video, so that we can have peace and security on earth, and there won't be anybody else on earth anymore after watching this video that's going to be praying for a cataclysmic destruction on the earth like Armageddon that's going to kill most of the people because they're not Jehovah's Witnesses or some other religion, somebody's favorite, because the devil or something's, there's some kind of whatever going on. That's all. Look. That's King Arthur stuff, man. I don't know what else to tell you, just need to back off of that, It's about being a good person. It's about treating people right. It's about being loving. It's about being kind. It's about being understanding. It's about expanding this world into a place to where it's got peace and security in it. You're not doing right. You're not, if you're in paradise and you see problems all around you, if you see a devil and you're in paradise, you created the devil in your head because it's not in paradise. And I'm telling you, we're in paradise right now because I'm there. I'm there. I know why I'm here and what I'm doing and what I'm explaining right here. There's absolutely no question in my mind of its validity. And there's no question that no matter how well-intentioned this organization has been in the past and how valuable it might have been to a God in the past, once it's no longer needed, it needed to die when it was supposed to, and it refused to do it. The creator of the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, Russell, he specifically put an expiration date on this organization. Do I have that book still here? I had the book out, and I think I picked it up. But it's in their Proclaimer's book, their Jehovah's Witness. It's their history book that they put out. And Russell they quoted it. Basically, he said, if we have to start begging for money, to quote him bluntly, then you need to lock the doors and stop preaching, because the work is finished. There's something else. The course has changed, and we need to figure out what that course is and go there. But that's not what they did. They just started begging for money. They didn't actually, in other words, the organization had a governing principle that it started with, and it violated its governing principle when it did that. And there's no one to hold the governing body accountable for what they did other than someone like me that is anointed from the viewpoint that I have been prepared with this knowledge ahead of time. That's the only value in this anointed designation. I use it because it's true in my case that I have been designated ahead of time to understand these things so that I can help the congregation to know. That's it. And anybody out there, any brother, sister, anyone that wants to study and learn and grow, in other words, what I did as Jehovah's Witnesses actually are responsible for me. Because you see, when I first saw that truth book, I looked at that title and I said, I'm going to figure out exactly what's behind this. And I'm going to succeed at this. Whatever this is, I'm going to figure it out. Well, guess what? See, they created me by the fact of my sincerity. I basically said my experiences in life is I'm going to overcome this book right here. I'm going to learn it. I'm going to understand it. And I'm going to be able to teach it accurately. Well, I can't teach it the way they taught it. I can teach it a lot better because I've gone way beyond their childish interpretation, exoteric interpretation of the Bible. The exoteric interpretation isn't bad in itself. It had a useful purpose. But the fact of the matter is the Bible in the book of in the Christian Greek scriptures, it talks about growing past child. Stop eating the childish food and start eating the meat and potatoes and the spiritual stuff. Well, Jehovah's Witnesses wouldn't know that if it hit them in the face with a, they just wouldn't. And that's the point, is they don't understand anything. And, truly deeply spiritual. And so that's why I've had to do this. Jehovah has trained me, because I say that. I said, well, Jehovah trained me. Oh man, that guy is arrogant. He thinks God has a direct relationship with him or something. I said, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. You can have it too. That's the point. What do you think Jesus was saying? I and the Father are one. That's what he said. What are you saying? And he was encouraging his disciples to do the same. Become like me and develop yourself, commit your life and your experiences so that you can be like me. And he was doing that because he needed other people to want to become like him so that enough people would want to make this world the world that it needed to become, a loving Christ-like world. We have to become followers, Christ-like persons. And Christ-like persons aren't afraid of a devil. They're just not, because they have a direct relationship with God. They don't have to go through a governing body or a devil, through the governing body to get to God. They just don't. They just go to God directly because their conscience. So that's what the scripture says. It says in the last days, no one will say, "No, Jehovah." I mean, the New World Translation clearly says this. Find it. It must be in Isaiah somewhere. It says, the day will come. It says, no one will say, "No, Jehovah," because everyone will know Jehovah in their own heart. They won't need the Watchtower Bible or Tract Society to explain him for us. We will have come to understand that there is no devil because we will have been properly taught by that time if the governing body was doing their job properly, but they're not. And because they're not, Brother King had to come along and express it for them, for Jehovah, because Brother King is being talked to from his heart and from his spirit, knowing that he has I and the Father one relationship with God, and he don't see any devils in the relationship at all. There is none. I know this is true because I know it's true because, in my experiences in my life, there is no devil. See, I wasn't taught to fear the devil like Jehovah's Witnesses are taught today. Even in the Truth Book, I don't remember exactly how it was taught there, and I don't even know if I have a copy anymore. I'm sure I can get one if I wanted one, but if you read it, I don't think this devil thing was so, it was a concept of good and bad, and that's really how I read it then, about being good and bad, the concept of good and bad. But for some reason, it's morphed into, without the devil, Jehovah's nothing. I'm telling you. Jehovah's powerless without their devil. Oh, the last time I went to a meeting, which is right after I met with one of the circuit overseers, which was when I was in my state where I was just finally recognizing and I was trying to make sense of it, which basically the advice he gave me was to keep my mouth shut, to let the governing body run the show and just keep my mouth shut, because in my state, which is I was in a really bad state of mind then, you can imagine, it's obvious that even though everything you're saying must be true, that you are one of the anointed and you do see some things you're concerned about, just let the governing body's going to take care of it. Don't worry. Okay. Well, I told him he was out of his mind. Okay. That I wasn't going to do that. But I did say I would respect him. I would be quiet. I wouldn't say anything. I would see. And so basically it's been several years now and I've been quiet. Okay. And I was quiet all the way up to the point where a member of the group, when I mentioned about Kevin, basically said, "Oh yeah, he had mental conditions." That was the blow off of Kevin. And this man had a personal relationship with Kevin. That was it. This Jehovah Witness man with a personal relationship with Kevin said, "Oh yeah, he had mental problems." That was it. What he had been taught had nothing to do with his mental problems. See, what do you do with your free will? Kevin gave his free will to the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society the best he could. The best that simple man could. And what did it lead him to? He wasn't but around 60 years old. Dedicated himself to that organization when he was probably around 20 years old. Probably spent at least close to 40 years of his life living that life until he couldn't stand it anymore and killed himself. Of course, don't get me wrong. The governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses will tell you how happy you are. They'll tell you the happiest people on earth. In fact, they'll tell you do not, under any conditions, you check out to see if anybody else might be happier than you. Because if you do that, the devil's going to get you.